Hello. Hello. Okay. I hope you are able to hear me. Okay, great. As the people joined from different time zones, so my good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. Many thanks for joining on time. I am Vivek Prakash and I welcome you all to this webinar. Today we all have come over here to get a complete picture of PMP certification. In the project management community, PMP certification is the most popular and appreciated certification. For a project manager's position, PMP certification has become a basic requirement. In a job advertisement, it is either preferable or mandatory. Many times, customer wants to see project management capability of the organization before they give projects, and they look for processes and PMP certified project managers. When PMP aspirants look for information on PMP certification, they take help from friends who have gone through this process and get some ideas. They visit PMI website and get rules and regulations, but no idea or no tips or guidance. They seek information by posting questions in various forums and get lots of information, but mostly biased from commercial interest. I believe you will get all information in this webinar: rules, regulations, tips, techniques, and unbiased guidance. The idea is to provide you the information so that you can take the right decision in your best interest. How we will conduct this webinar? By default, all participants are muted. This is to keep voice quality better. You can ask questions at any time. Please use the question panel to post your questions. I will pause at logical points and take the question from question panel. In case we run out of time without giving answers of all the questions, I will send responses of all the questions in an email to all the participants. We will post them on our websites as well. About 7-8 years ago, I started a PMP club under PMI Mumbai chapter umbrella and ran the club for 3 years before moving to some other roles. And that club we started from 4 to 5 people and took over 50 people joining in the session on Sunday morning. The purpose was exactly the same of this webinar: to create awareness, help people from right information, get honest guidance to pass exam, and get a platform to earn PDUs to sustain their certification. Today, PMP Club run at 4 places in Mumbai, in Thane, in Vashi, in Ahmedabad, and over 150 people join in these 4 locations every month. Let's go over to the main agenda today. Okay, in today's webinar, I have put all the things in 4 sections. First is the exam overview, everything about the exam. Then some tips for preparing and passing the exam. Then we talk about PMIism, that is thinking from PMI perspective, understanding the PMBOK and seeing the project management from PMBOK angle. And the last one is, after the PMP certification, how you can sustain with the certification, how to earn PDUs. Let us start from eligibility criteria. There are basically two categories. One is graduate, another is undergraduate. For the graduate, around 3 years of experience is required, which is equivalent to 4,500 hours of experience on project management activities. That does not mean that you have to be project manager. What does it mean is that you will be doing some activities which fall under project management domain. You could be a simple engineer, you could be project lead, project manager or senior managers, and doing the project management activities. That time will count in this experience. That should come out to be around more than 4,500 hours. That's the first condition for the graduate people. And the second condition is that you should have at least 35 hours of formal project management training. And this is the place which is mostly exploited commercially, and because the training is required and training provided is required. The second category is of undergraduate, so you should have a minimum high school, and in that case you need 5 years of experience, that is equivalent to 7,500 hours of experience in project management activities. The training requirement is same. Now when we talk about this experience, that is the most ambiguous area and most little complicated also to understand in that manner. The experience should be in all the 5 process groups. So there are 5 process groups defined in PMBOK: the initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and control, and closing. Now the experience must be in all the 5 groups, though there is no minimum specified in any group. So even 2 hours will work. Now you have multiple projects, and in one project you may not be able to get the experience of all the 5 processes, which is okay. So in one project you have worked from initiation to planning, other project from planning to execution, monitoring, control. Maybe some project you just get into the project little later and you work in some execution part and the closing part. And all together, put all these projects put together, your experience is, if all 5 process groups, then it is fine. The experience will be counted only for last 8 years. Anything before that will not be counted. So out of 8 years, 3 years experience should be of project management. That could be achieved in, or could be earned on 5 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever it is. Now about the structure of the PMP exam. The PMP exam is of 4 hours. There are 200 multiple choice questions. One answer is correct. Around exactly 25 questions are pre-release, means on test. Question on test are included in 200 questions. answer to those 25 questions will not be counted against the score because they are under test, but you don't know about those 25 questions. They can be any. So for you it is 200 questions and you should achieve more than 61% marks. When the scoring will happen, scoring will happen from the one after removing these 25 questions. From 175 question, you should be, your answers will of 106 and more questions should be right, and you will be passed. Yes, most of the people are able to complete exam well before time. So this time which is available is quite good enough as such. People are comfortably complete all 200 questions. They revise it and then submit their exam also. Most of the time, not always. But if it is not always, means if some people find challenging, normally there are two scenarios. One is either they are not fully prepared or their like reading skills are a little poorer than the others or less efficient. Normally non-native English like India or some. So 61% out of 175, 106 should be correct, means you can easily miss 69 questions, which is a good number. So shouldn't be that much tough as such. How the questions are distributed? 30% will come from execution part, 25% will come from monitoring, 24% from planning, 13% from initiating, and 8% from closing. About an year and a half back, there was some this distribution was different. There was some percentage was given for professional and social responsibility also, which is removed. It doesn't mean that professional and social responsibility question will not come. They will come, but they are merged with other knowledge areas. So they will still be there in the same form, but they will be counted in different knowledge areas. So basically, as such, there is no action on the person who is giving the exam. The PMP exam, the fee is $555 for non-members, $405 for a member, but to become member you have to spend $148. The total come out to be $553, which is more or less same. Now the second option normally people choose, and which is good also, because you get a free membership for 1 year. All the benefits, and benefits include a free soft copy of PMBOK. So if you become member, you get a free copy of PMBOK. You can read it through and then give the exam. No need to buy a costly one paperback, which is come out to be very decently costly as such. Now the most critical area or most talked about area is the training requirements. So the person who is preparing for PMP exam can get this 35 hours of mandatory training, that is the prerequisite for applying for exam, from 6 different categories of organizations. The first category is PMI component organization, that is PMI chapters, PMI special interest group, that is SIG, and some other groups also of PMI if they conduct. But most of the time it is the PMI chapters who are conducting this. You can take the course from chapters. That is absolutely good. The second category is the PMI registered education provider. That means the education provider who are registered with PMI. You will find them in PMI registry. Okay. The third is the employer company sponsored program. It means the company can do this kind of project management training in-house, or hiring a consultant from outside and doing inside, or outsourcing this thing. So if the company is giving you project management training, that is also applicable here. You need not to go outside and spend money on getting this training. The fourth type is the training companies or the consultant who are not registered with PMI. Means they are not REPs, but they are also eligible, or they are also they can also give you training. Basically, PMWares, we fall into fourth category, the consultants. Okay, so not necessarily you have to take training from the PMI components or registered education provider. Your company can give you training. Any other consultant or training companies can give training on the project, but it has to be on project management. That is must. There are some institutes who provide distance learning education on project management. That is absolutely fine. You can take those things also. We also conduct like online trainings, which we categorize as a distance learning, and we take an end of course assessment after the online training is over. So normally the people at the distance, if they are learning it from a distance, normally they categorize as a distance learning. You can the training provider can clarify from the PMI and categorize appropriately. The sixth type of the training providers are the university, college. In their academics, they can run project management training. So if somebody is doing project management degree in master degree or so, and or any other MBA or some other degree where the project management is being taught, and that if those hours goes beyond 35 hours, that will make you eligible to apply for PMP exam. So a couple of things which we have to like understand in this, because a lot of confusion in this area, that PMI has not recommended any content of these trainings. The only direction is that it has to be on the project management. So if your employer is providing you training on project management, those can be counted. Those hours can be counted to accumulate 35 hours. There is nowhere it is mentioned that your training should be on PMBOK. It should be on project management. It should be a formal training. Your company can, if your company has conducted several training program in-house to prepare future project managers, and if that exceed 35 hours, I think you need not to go to any training provider. You are well eligible for applying for PMP exam. So no maximum duration or minimum duration provided. All trainings accumulate should complete 35 hours. That's what the direction is. So you can have 5 trainings, you can have 2 trainings, you can have 1 training. So there is no content as such, right? There is no need to have the training on PMBOK contents. But another thing is there, that exam happens on PMBOK. What is covered in PMBOK? So these trainings will be on project management if they are not on PMBOK, but they will not prepare you for PMP exam. So PMP prep courses, the benefit of those courses is that you get, during this time, you get prepared for PMP exam along with getting the project management training. There are plus and minuses also, because the company provide trainings. They are more practical oriented. They are more like the work you are going to do that oriented. We give like different kind of benefits, but the PMP prep exam will training will give you different kind of benefits. They will prepare you for the PMP exam. However, it is not a must. You have to take 35 hours of training of PMBOK. That's not necessary. Okay, now we have this how to calculate the experience. You can calculate the experience on various projects. The only condition which is given is that if the 2 projects are overlapping, means a project is starting in finishing on April and you are started working on another project from February till June, whatever the overlapping period is, that will be counted only once. So because you have worked on 2 projects, it cannot be counted for 2. It's a simple elapsed time. That's all. As such, this is the primary thing. But we can talk about that how to report the experience, because that is the most laborious work when you apply for PMP exam or apply for the PMP online. The other area of the applications can be filled very quickly, but this portion takes a lot of time, and our recommendation is you should be prepared before that. So there is a little format. This is the information they normally look. If you prepare this information in an Excel format, I will just show you this. So what normally they look for when you apply for PMP, when you apply online, and you have to report your complete experience project by project. So this is how it is. You have to give the project name. You have to, first section is overview, that is when the project started, when ended, what's the role you played in this project, what is the industry, means it was an insurance project, it was telecom project, something like that. Then about the organization who executed this project, means the organization you are part of. So your job title, your organization name, address of the organization, then the details of the contact person. Normally this person is your manager, but not necessarily. This person could be any person who is concerned with your project and can verify the details you are submitting. Because when you apply for online, you are not submitting any papers. Okay, this is only soft copy. All the papers are with you. If your application come in the audit, only then you have to supply all those papers. So this is the person who is your either your manager or somebody in the project or somebody concerned with the project with whom PMI can verify that whatever you are submitted here is right. The third section is about project details, that is how many hours of work you have done in which process group. How many hours you have spent in initiation, how many hours in planning, how many hours in execution. And in the description, you have to provide a brief description of the project and a list of your deliverables on this project. What you have delivered, what you have produced on this project. Okay. Now, if you have on a project, if you have worked only in the initiation and planning, so you just fill your hours in this and rest you leave. The format is not exactly as this is, but information is this. So if you produce, this is the project number, the second project number. So whatever the projects you have to submit, better you have the information ready with you in an Excel sheet so that you can copy paste in the application. Application can be submitted in one shot. Otherwise, there is a facility that you can enter the information, you can save it temporarily, you can go back and again update it and again save it, and whenever you want you can submit it. So you necessarily that once you have started, you have to submit in the same instance. You can do it later also. But this is the information normally they look for, and you should accumulate because this is the most laborious place or laborious section where you have to put a lot of efforts to report it. Okay, this is the process of PMP certification. That is, you apply for when you submit the application. So once you have started submitting the application, within 90 days you should complete it. Once you submit the application, within 5 days they review it, and if they approve it, you have to pay the payment. You have to make the payments. And if your application fall into audit means normally 10% of the application fall into audit. It's a regular practice. So your application can also fall into audit. If it falls into audit, Then you have to submit the supporting details. I will cover up later. Once you go through this process, within 1 year you have to attempt for your exam, and you can attempt up to 3 times, but every time you attempt you have to pay a fee for re-examination. But if you are, my opinion is that if you are a little serious about it, you can pass it easily as such. Most of the people normally pass. The failure rate is not very high, as at least I have seen like that. Once you pass the exam, your certification cycle starts, and that is for 3 years. Every 3 years you have to renew your certification by completing your submitting your 60 PDUs. So there are various ways to earn these 60 PDUs. Once you earn these 60 PDUs, report it to the PMI. As soon as your 60 PDUs are done, they will send you an email to renew your certification. You have to pay a fee. If you are a member, the fee is less. If you are non-member, fee is high. And that way you can continue renew your certification. You need not to give exam again. But suppose if you are not able to complete 60 PDUs in 3 years, your credential will be suspended for 1 year. So if you complete 60 PDUs in next 1 year, your credential will be, your PMP designation will be reinstated. But if you are not, then it will be expired. Now, if your application fall into audit, what you have to do? They normally ask for 3 things. One is your university degree, because it is the criteria for your category, that you are in graduate category or undergraduate category. Your project management experience, what you have submitted, so all the details about you have to get some sign from the person you have mentioned, or somebody from the project who can vouch for you that okay, this person was in this project and did this. So something you have to, some endorsement you have to take from either from your manager or from your peers or from somebody who is concerned with the project and can do so. And you have to present the certificate of the 35 hours of project management education. They will give you proper guidance. They will give you enough time. I think it is 90 days you can submit this application. Till that time, your 1 year the block will be suspended. So it will be a timeout if you are asked to submit the papers. As soon as you submit the paper, it is approved. Your timeout will be over, and then again the 1 year duration will be, they start calculating. Okay, so this was all about PMP exam, and let me see if some questions are there. So I will take up some questions here. Okay, so let me read this. Vivek, I have very complex versatile profile. Within, I have worked as quality in charge in a reputed automotive firm, involved in Six Sigma lean quality improvement project for 1.5 years. And then I am in BPO. Within, I was involved in process and strategic improvement for 3 years, and now I am in IT domain, whereas I am working in an asset management ITIL framework, some total of 6 years of experience. Will it be right decision to obtain a PMP certification? Please suggest. Okay, this is one thing. You take PMP certification or not, it depends upon how do you see your future. If you see your future as a project manager, I will say it's a good idea to take this certification. And this project management, the principles of PMBOK or PMI are very generic in terms of industry. They can be applied in any projects. When we do training, we train people in all the sections. They are mainly manufacturing, constructions, and the IT companies, most of them. But some people come from biotech and other places also. sometimes even be surprised to see the people coming from very different sections we have never thought of. So project management principles applies wherever there is a project. Where the project is, where there is an objective and you have to achieve within a specified time frame, it's a project. So my simple advice is that if you see your future as a project manager or in project management area, I think you go for PMP certification. But if you don't see this, if you see yourself as a more technical person, more a support person, or more an other profile, admin, etc., I don't think it's a right decision to go for PMP certification. It's all about your future. But I think if you have worked on Lean Six Sigma, quality improvements, and asset management, most of the stuff is related to what you have written down. It looks to me as a project management stuff. I'm sure that you have more than 3 years of experience in this project management things. And as you are doing this, I think you are interested in this kind of activity. So you see your future and then take a decision. I hope I are able to give some guidance on that. Does a PMP subject in degree or post-graduation enough as a 35 hours of PM training? You can check with your college if the number of hours of project management subject lectures are more than 35 hours, you are well eligible for it. You need not to go for any other extra training. Colleges are well equipped and well authorized to give trainings on project management, and in project management degree is very well recognized. Training by qualified PMP not registered as REP. Please explain again. I teach in universities on project management where I did my 35 hours training. I need to register a code for REP trainer. Not, there is no necessity. PMI encourage that PMP do training or the training you get from PMP, but there is no such hard line. Anybody who is knowledgeable about project management, has knowledge about project management, can give training. There is no requirement that you must get the training from PMP. First of all, you should get registered as a REP only, then you can give training. There is no such direction. Any consultant who has a command on project management, many training companies can hire consultant and do trainings. As I mentioned, there are 6 categories. REP is one category, PMI chapters are one category, colleges are one category, consultants are one category, your employer is one category. Any of them, you get training from any of them, all are eligible. Our trainings, 2 participants, we are not REPs, 2 participants have gone through audit process. So their all documents are verified, verified and then approved. Okay, so 2 people I know because they undergo this audit process, so they are well verified by PMI. And whenever we launch any program, we normally verify, because I am a very active volunteer of PMI. I normally seek all the clarification from PMI before I confirm anything. So you need not to, as such there is no requirement, but you can go, it will give you a little more authority. You can say that you are registered with that, but as such there is no difference. If the organization closed where we work, is it okay if we get the authorization from the reporting manager who is working in the different company? Absolutely fine. If that person is available, please go ahead, and this is absolutely fine. Is there any other PM certification apart from PMP? If there is, how accredited is that certification? Okay, yeah, PMP is most popular. The second most popular is Prince 2. The other popular is IPMA, the I think Association for Project Management, and that has a ladder kind of things, that certification at the basic level, then the master level, then so it's like a trainee project manager, then project manager, then program manager, something like that. Level 1, level 2, level 3, or level 4. So such kind of Association for Project Management also gives certification, though it's not that popular. The Prince 2 is the next popular one, but the difference between PMP and Prince 2 is very like with comparing to, I'm only comparing the the popularity part. So it's, you can say it's around 70-30 or 70-20, something like that. PMP is most popular. Prince 2 is mainly very popular and almost mandatory kind of thing in UK, and the business people do from UK. As far as 35 hours PM education is concerned, suppose I have done couple of trainings in year 2011 and 2012 in my organization, but it adds to more than 35 hours. Is that case, in that case, do I need to have training from REP or collect PDUs? No. You just take those certificates. You should have either the mail from, either the certificate your company should have given you, or they should have given you email that you have undergone through. There should be some supporting document which can tell that, okay, yes, you have undergone this training. Okay, this could be a company system also, which could giving you a dashboard that which training you have done, and it is showing that they should be project management training. Non-project management training will not be counted. They should be training on the project management. If they are project management training, they are exceeding 35 hours, you need not to go to any training provider. You are well equipped, well eligible for applying for PMP. Thanks. Does my teaching then qualify for my own PDUs? If it is voluntary. If you are doing it as a business, or is this your day-to-day job, then you will get 5 PDUs per year for doing your job. But if you are doing it voluntary, then 1 hour is equivalent to 1 PDU. So I do trainings there very frequently, so that will not count it. I cannot count them for my PDUs. This is my business actually. This is my day-to-day job. I can count 5 PDUs per year for that. Can I be a trainer after completing PMP certification? You could be a trainer even before that, but you should have command on project management. Of course, you can have trainer after PMP exam, but I think you should go through some train the trainer kind of things and understand that what's the training that will help you. But you can be very well. To become trainer, PMP is not a requirement. What next? Certification after PMP to have a strong resume and profile in the market. Okay. There are many certifications from PMI. One is PGMP, that is the Program Management Certification, which normally people say after the PMP. But it all depends upon your requirements. As of now, I haven't seen any advertisement or any demand as such, which is you see the project management advertisement, project managers advertisement. They are saying that okay, PMP will be preferred, PMP is mandatory. I have not seen any such advertisement where advertisers are saying that okay, you should be PGMP for program manager or senior manager or something like that. It will be in starting your resume, right? How much it will benefit, I'm not very sure. So I don't want to comment on that. But that is one. But there are many other certification also from PMI. That is the scheduling certification is there, risk management certification is there. WBS creation is there, program and project portfolio management is there. So there are many standards from PMI, and almost all standards have one certification exam. You can maybe look on those as well. And if you see that in future you may be working with UK based companies or doing some project in UK, maybe Prince 2 is another certification which you can look for. Our 3 months of distance learning certification program from IIT Kanpur, will it work as 35 hours of PDUs? Yeah, 3 months is fine, but 3 months is a total span. Number of hours you have to count. If they are more than 35 hours on project management, again I will insist that it should be project management. If it is on project management, more than 35 hours, they will be counted. What I suggest normally in this case, to be safe and clear, you can there is a email ID of PMI, that is customercare@pmi.org. You can write your facts and understanding to them and seek the clarification that if that is eligible or not, because I don't really know how this certification program is working. So if you are a little doubtful, I think it is good idea to send your understanding and the facts you have to PMI on customercare@pmi.org and seek the clarification. I think you will get a proper response. May not, sometimes the response is not very fast. You may send reminder, but if you send reminder, normally the response comes. I've done final year project with a 6-month in HAL Bangalore on lean concepts. Can I use it as my project experience, as I was only an engineer graduate at that point of time? Is it 8 years before? Then forget about it. And if it is within 8 years, I will say that you please send the facts to customercare@pmi.org, that they will verify, or you can discuss me offline also. Maybe you can send me the details, because with this I may not be able to comment until I get the more details about what you exactly did. Okay, but it could be. The lean is also a part of project management, and lean principles fall into project management. And to let you know that most of the agile is based on lean principles. Almost all lean principles are imbibed in the agile, so they are well accepted by PMI as well. So you can send me details, or you can send it to customercare@pmi.org. I think you will get more clarification. Better to get more details and then I respond you properly. Can you repeat the email address once again, please, or PMI and your email address as well? I will give you at the end of the presentation. Okay, so I think this is for now. Let's move on to the next part, and that is about some tips on preparing and passing the exam. The exam is based on PMBOK, that is for sure. The scope of the exam is on project management, but the scope is limited to PMBOK. What does it mean? That the things which are mentioned in PMBOK, described in PMBOK, and referenced in PMBOK. Sometimes many subjects, many things are mentioned in PMBOK, but they are not so described there. It's better to get a little more understanding of those subjects as well. It is good for you. It is also be good for giving the answers correctly. So a thorough study of the PMBOK 4th edition is definitely required, and just to let you know that 4th edition is valid only up to 31st of July. After that, it will be the 5th edition which will come in force. Understanding and practicing of the concept referred in PMBOK are important. As I said, many things are referenced, but they are not. explained fully, so get to know about those concepts as well. Real life experience is not sufficient. That is very important, because real life experience could be different than PMI ideology that is mentioned in PMBOK. So only real life experience is not sufficient. You must read the PMBOK and understand PMBOK perspective, because you have to answer questions advised by PMBOK, not what you have really learned through your experience. Exam is based on PMBOK. The exam is of PMBOK, PMI philosophy. So you have to answer from that perspective, even if it conflicts from your experience. Questions are situational and more than one answers appear correct. So most of the questions are situational, and most of the question you will find that more than one answers appearing correct. They are very close, or maybe both are right, but one will be right in this context, or one will be the best, one will be the first, or one will be the most. I will give you one example of such questions, that how questions could be ambiguous and more than one answers appears correct, and how they are situational. So practicing the sample questions is a necessary, because you must know what kind of questions come and how to answer them. But do not rely on just doing questions. Many people do lot of question. That will become kind of rote learnings. Instead of doing too many questions, better to analyze the questions which you are attempting or which you are answering wrong. That why you are doing wrong. There are some principles behind that which you haven't understood. Try to understand that principles. If you understand that principles, all the questions related to that principles will be automatically you will be ticking right. So try to focus on the why this question I have given wrong. So when you practice, focus on why this question, which was like ambiguous to you, but you did right. So how you did right, and then the question which you did wrong, that why I did wrong, what was the principle I couldn't understand. Understand that principles. I think that, so practicing questions should be how the questions come, and second thing, to reinforce the understanding. You need to memorize some stuff. All understanding may not be used. That is input, output, tools and techniques, and most of them are very logical, but not all are logical. So if they are not all logical, you need to memorize them. But let me tell you, you can spend some time memorizing them, but do not bother too much about them. Don't spend too much time on this. First of all, many of them are logical, so you will anyway answer them correct. They are not difficult, second thing. Third thing is, even their questions are not too many on that. Most of the questions are situational. Even if you do one or two wrong, if you are very strong on situational question, I think it doesn't matter. So do not spend too much time in memorizing this. I think if you are focused on understanding your principles, even these things also get memorized slowly. Now fourth, I think the last thing is, you can easily understand that you have given several exams. There is no penalty for guessing, so answer all the questions. It is not necessary to use all the information. Sometimes question is overloaded with the information. The information they have is still more than required information is there. Often it misguides you to answer the question. So beware of such kind of things. See that what is the crux of the whole question and answer from that point of view. Reject the irrelevant information. Some options may be true but not relevant. So that happens, that some answers of the questions will be like universally true. They will be true and that there also, but may not be fitting into the context of the questions. So there is no point doing all these there's no point in answering such kind of questions. If the question which is universally true or no, always true or some or maximum time true, they are normally not the right answers, because questions are normally specific and specific answers are the mostly right. Answer the question from PMI perspective. As I said, that is the PMI perspective is more important than your own learning and perspective. So little change of mindset is required. Option containing generic global words are normally incorrect. So always, never. As I said, universally two answers are not right answers normally. One diagram can be used for multiple questions. That's a simple thing. Questions are situational and more than one question option. As I said, that in such cases, most, best, first. So when you say what you do first, what is the most appropriate? Maybe three answers are right, but most appropriate will be only one. So let me give you such an example. I will throw one question to you people. You answer them, and then we will see that which answer is right, and this will give you a little understanding that what kind of questions normally come and how they appears and how to answer such questions. I will send you one question in the form of poll. You answer, then I will give you 2 minutes to answer. Read it carefully and answer. And so here is the poll with you. Question in front of you. So you please give one of the answer. You have 2 minutes. Thirty seconds left. Ten seconds left. There's still some people who have to answer. Okay, time is over. Anybody want to submit? Who have not submitted yet? Or should I make it over? Okay, let's see. Okay, let me share the results with you. Okay. Now the question, you just look at the question. Your project is 80% complete. You get a change from the customer. Which of the following you will do first? More or less, all looks correct, including the fourth one nobody ticked. But if you go to the first sentence, even some people can answer this question also. Luckily, nobody has answered. This is the incorrect answer anyway. Okay, so information which is your project is 80% complete is basically irrelevant and overloaded unnecessarily. It's not required. The question is basically, if you get a change from customer, what you do first. Okay. Now what do you do first? If you take it through change management process, okay, let's go from the first. Call a team meeting. What do you mean by call a team meeting? If you get a change from customer and you call a team meeting, it shows that you do not have any process in your projects. If there is a process, you know what to do. So if you do this first, it means you do not know what to do with the change, and change is a normal thing in a project. So if for a normal thing, if you do not have any process, then it is poor project management. So first cannot be right answer, because this can only happen when you get a change for which your defined process does not address. So you have a defined process. Generally all the changes can go through that process, but you get a change which is not fitting into that. In that case, you can call a team meeting to really understand what to do and to discuss this. Now if a change will come, what do you do first? Take it through the change management or qualify the change first? Qualify means you are verifying that this change is really a change or not. And that's what exactly you should do first. When a change comes, customer thinks it is a change, it is sending you the information, but your perspective, you know more about the project, you can say, oh, this change may not be required, maybe some basic criteria. For example, if you go for to file a lawsuit in the court, the judge first thing what he does, that is this appeal is acceptable or not? Should I accept it for hearing or not? The hearing will come later. First he will qualify the application. Is it worth considering or not? And many of the applications are rejected at that point of time. And even you can do this. You can have some qualifying criteria that if the basic things are not matching, then there is no point going ahead. If you take this ahead, then you will be unnecessary wasting time of the people who are involved in the change management process. Now once the change is qualified, you take it through the change management process, because now it is confirmed that this is a change, right? So that is so first option is qualify the change. Once you qualify the change, you know that, then you do the estimation and understanding of this. At that point of time, if you think that this is not a this is something atypical circumstances, you can call a meeting and come with the estimates and impact, all these things that you put together to a change management process. So this is how it should happen. So basically the qualify the change is the right answer in this case. Okay. Let me see if there are some questions. I will answer them. Is 2 weeks of good preparation enough to certify? Two weeks of good preparation. Now good is a very subjective thing. Something good for you, something may not be good for me, or something good for me may not be good for you. So this is a little subjective matter. I give you a little yardstick kind of thing which I normally use. If you can spend 2 hours a day regularly, a 3 to 4 weeks of preparation is good. If you can spend more time, your duration will be less. If you can spend less time, your duration will be more. This is what I normally use, and it is going very well as such. You spend 2 hours a day for 3 to 4 weeks time is good enough to like this is after you have taken up some preparatory course. Now if you have not taken any preparatory course, I think this will be a little more. You can double this actually, because you need to understand the PM work. So PMBOK, reading PMBOK is a little boring stuff as such. So PMBOK is not a very interesting book as such. So it is very plainly written book. So, and basically PMBOK is a standard. It's not a book also. It's a standard. It's a NC standard as such. So it is written in the standard manner. So you have to read it. It takes some time. So if there is a preparatory course you have taken and it is a good preparatory course, I think 3 to 4 weeks of time is good enough if you are spending 2 hours a day. Change here refers to change request, right? Change here refers to change request. Okay, let me go to the next point, which is called PMIism. And this PMIism means thinking from PMI perspective and making some assumptions which in real life may or may not be true, but in case of PMBOK or in case when you are giving the exam, they are more or less true. PMP exam is a test of PMI processes and philosophy. Please change your mindset. If it is not, make it, because that's how you will be you can pass the exam only from with this understanding. For example, project charter is a must to start a project. So if any questions come where you assume that project charter is not in the project, you may be taking the wrong answer. And I can tell you in the real life, I have seen very few projects where there is a project charter. So this is such a contrasting place. Though every project has a charter, but that is not written as such, formally written. But when the PMI says it is a formally written project charter, without charter there is no project as such, but it is in the mind of the people. The project managers have all kind of soft and hard skills. That means the project manager who is working on the project, who is handling the project, has all kind of skills required to handle the projects, which may not be true, and most of the time it is not. But in case when you are like reading PMBOK and when you are giving the exam, consider this. Project manager is authorized by a charter and he has all authority to take any action in the interest of project. It may or may not be true in the real projects, but you consider that if you are a project manager, you have all rights to take any action on the project. As such, you can take this authority as such, even if it is not with you. Because authority is the thing which you can take, other things can be given. Authority is the things which normally do not given, people can only take. That's a real life. The project manager takes an active approach to the job and do not wait for risk to materialize. It means a project manager is a proactive person. So if there is a question come to you where 3 answers are passive answers and 1 answer is a proactive answer, most likely this proactive answer will be right. Means 3 answers are showing a action of passiveness, while the 4th answer is showing a action of proactiveness, then that answer most probably will be right. Even if you are not very sure, this is the fundamental principle you can apply. So always choose the proactive approaches. Lesson learned from previous projects and historical database are available. So please see that even if they are not available in most of the companies, they are not available, but you consider they are. Don't consider they are not available. PMI does not approve construction of extra feature not in the scope termed as gold plating. So if there is an extra feature, propose it to the customer through the change management process, take this into the project scope and then act on it. Without including in the scope, if you are working on producing extra feature, it will be a gold plating, and PMI does not approve, and also it is in real life also it's not a good practice to do. The work breakdown structure is a wonderful tool. It is a wonderful tool, no doubt, but if you do not consider it, consider it. Roles and responsibility matrix are defined on all projects. Even if you have not defined in your life for your any projects, you consider that they are available. You have defined them. Working overtime is the last resort. All options must be tried out. This is again a contrast here. In real practice, I have seen working overtime is the first resort basically. But from the PMI perspective, and which is right also, that it should be the last resort. All other actions, attempts you should make to correct the situation. If all fails, then only ask people to come and do overtime. A performance criteria is determined in the advance, and EVM is employed to measure the performance. Okay, so PMI consider that in every project EVM is applied as a performance measurement tool. Okay, and there is a pre-approved performance criteria is available. All changes go through change management process, and impact on the scope, schedule, cost, quality and risk are informed to all stakeholders. Project manager obtain formal acceptance of all deliverables and project. All stakeholders need to be identified and analyzed, and their action items or how do you going to manage that should be planned out. Lesson learned are documented during closure. So in the closure phase, closure does not mean closure of the project. The phase closure is also a closure. At that time you can document the lesson learned. Project manager evaluate effectiveness of corrective action. So whatever the corrective actions you put, the project manager evaluate regularly the effectiveness of those actions. Okay, I see no questions, so I will move further to the fourth section. Is that what happened after the exam? So once you submit your exam, immediately you come to know you have passed or failed. Okay, percentage do not matter. Either you get 62% marks or 95% marks. PMI does not disclose this, how much percentage you have got. The only thing you get is the pass or fail. And a scoring sheet, which scoring sheet only tells in which area how do you have performed. That's all. It doesn't give any percentage as such. Now, how do you maintain the PMP certification? For many people, it is a very tough job. But for me and the things I am going to explain you will find that it is fairly easy. You need not to take much effort as such to do this. It is much easier than anybody. Just people have not given a thought to various things or have not gone through the CCR book, Continuous Certification Guide. So 60 PDUs in 3 years is very easy. If you are employed and do project management training or some other job related to the project management, you get 5 PDUs just by doing your job, which you anyway do. So without doing any extra work, you get 15 PDUs out of 60 PDUs. So your problem is not 60 PDUs, your problem is only limited to 45 PDUs because 15 PDUs anyway get it. This will fall into category F. The second thing you can do and attend a project management education program. What does it mean? You can attend a training, you can attend some knowledge sharing sessions, you can attend a seminar, you can attend a webinar like you are attending this. If your organization is doing some project management training, attend those trainings, you will get PDUs. Some knowledge, you can create a group within your organization or within your locality or within your city or within or join a group. There you conduct knowledge sharing session of project management, document those readings, document those those meetings and what you learned, what you have like what was taught in that, who taught this. If you keep the proper documentation, you can claim PDUs for that also. You can join seminars. PMI does seminars. PMI chapters do seminars. You can join them. You can join such webinars which are easy to join. Nothing much to be done. Every 1 hour of investment in such kind of activity will give you 1 PDU. There are 2 categories. Category A means you are attending these programs conducted by PMI chapters or REPs, and category B, other than PMI and REPs, means any other entity which is not registered with PMI. If you take those training programs, attend those programs, that will fall into category B. Like this webinar will fall into category B. If you go for REPs and PMI chapters, if you attended PMI chapter meetings and get PDUs out of that, you will be filing them in category A. So let me give you the rest of the 45, the equation of the rest of the 45, that if you attend pmwares webinar every month, we conduct every month, you get 1.5 PDUs every month. That means 18 PDUs in a year. That means 54 PDUs in 3 years. While your requirement is only 45 PDUs, because 15 PDUs you have got from your job. So it means even if you miss some of the webinars, you are still good. You're good even if you miss some webinars, because 15 PDUs you are getting from your job itself. Okay, now more on this. You do self-study. Keep a record of self-study, what you learn. You can watch the recorded webinars, read some project management books. Keep a record of it. Keep some links, etc. Like you watch a recorded webinar. Keep a link of that webinar. Keep a record of what you learned from this webinar or what you learned from the book. What was your learning, how much time you invested. So keep some record so that if your claim is audited, you are in the position to submit your documents properly. Now the last thing is, or not last thing as such, you can volunteer for various activities which are done by PMI and PMI chapter. Though they demand some time, but the kind of learning happens, the kind of networking happens that have its own benefit actually. So I strongly recommend all the people that be part of these active groups. You not only learn a lot, you create your network, and which is normally bigger the network, more resourceful you are. More resourceful you are, more impactful you are. More faster you will be. You learn the leadership skills when you volunteer service, because all leaders are volunteer. PDUs are announced for specific PDUs. I had been a very active volunteer for PMI Mumbai chapter. Even after moving from Mumbai to Pune, I was still giving my services. I volunteer for converting or translating the PMBOK 4th edition into Hindi, and even now we are just starting for PMBOK 5 also to translate into Hindi. We're just starting it. So if anyone interested in joining that, but you must have the command on Hindi and should be able to contribute very significantly in that. You are most welcome here. You will become part of this. Basically, we need a translator is there. We need a person who can review the translation. So it's a translation review committee basically. So you can be part of that. So you volunteer for activities, not only you earn PDUs but learn a lot of things. The last thing you can say that you can earn PDUs by sharing your knowledge. Be a speaker on seminar, webinar, be a panel member on a panel discussion, be a trainer on project management course, whatever you do, but it should be voluntary. It should not be a job. If you're a job, then it will fall into category F, that is your day-to-day job, you get 5 PDUs for whole year. But if it is voluntary, you will get 1 PDUs per hour. So you can write blog articles. Normally PMI says giving back to the community. You have learned something, now you are training other people to learn the same thing. So I keep doing these webinars. I encourage you all people to do webinars or do some seminars or go into the PMI chapters and share your knowledge with them. This platform is open for you. If you want to do some webinar, you can share some knowledge, you can share some experience. I welcome you. You please write to me, and you can be a speaker on one of the webinar. If you write some blog articles, I welcome you all to write blogs for PMwares blog, which normally I write, and you can also write you will be a guest blogger there. I have taken up a position with PMI for writing blogs for them, especially for the talent gap. So I encourage your people also to come over there and do this. The last is if you have any questions now, I will take that up. So what's the question? On PDUs, does other training count, for example, developing your skills in social media, communication, or HR and teamwork? Okay. Anything which fall into project management. For example, communication management. Communication is one part of the project management. If communication is of various forms. If you are learning some language, may not fall. But if you are learning how to effectively communicate with in your job or in your networking circles, that definitely it can be. It depends upon what kind of training on the communication is, because communication is a very wide area as such. On HR, yeah, HR is also a very wide area. Not everything fall into HR will fall into project management, but there is a common ground also between HR and project management. If that training falls into that common ground, very well, you can claim PDUs for that. Social media, I'm not sure, but one thing is that social media is very useful for project managers. If the objective is that how I can effectively use as a project manager my social media, I think that can be. It's a matter of how do you present it, what your objective is. May fall, but I have a little doubt on that. So we need to get into details to really understand if that is eligible or not. Okay, I am working with UK client in IT. What should I do, Prince2 or PMP? Means what is the difference between the two for us, for US or UK? See, as such, at the end of the day, it is project management. The way things are categorized, the way the guidance is given are little different. Okay, and here there are 5 knowledge areas. Therefore, the categorization is different. Knowledge areas type process groups, they are not saying process group, they're saying something else. The categorization is also different. So the way the whole program, course is structured are different. In that manner, if a company is in UK, they mostly like to adhere to Prince2 and they will like you to follow the same standard. Also, there is one thing which is called that Prince2 is a way of doing the project, while PMBOK is a standard. Now, how does it make a difference? I'm not very sure, because by looking at the standard, you also adopt a way to do, and that is we called a PMI way. So it all depends. If you continue be in UK, you will be taking up more UK projects. I think Prince2 is more appropriate. But if you may be switching to some other projects, all other places, mostly it is PMP which is more popular. Many people have done both. I haven't done. I have been little PMI guy as such. But it depends. If you are seeing that in future you will be taking more UK based project, or maybe the South Africa is one of the place where most of the UK processes are followed, in that case you can take up the Prince 2 as such before you take up PMP. What is the current version of Prince 2? I have no idea. I have a little idea about Prince 2, so I don't want to comment on that. Or I don't have the knowledge about it as such. I have future plan to have a job in UK after PMP certification. Will it help me to? I should think about Prince 2. If you have future plan in UK, go ahead with Prince 2. But I tell you that if you are inclined to PMP, go ahead and do PMP. It will always help you. See, the project management at the end of the day, it is same. Just a matter of what you put, the structure is a little different. But both are teaching you how to execute the project. What is, if stakeholders are important, then they are important for both the places. If your team is important, a team important for all the certification. If you have to take care of the organization and the customer's objective, it is true for all kinds of certification. It's just a very like methodology which you adopt are different. Otherwise, principles, the ideology, the other factors, soft aspects are all same as such. They don't change. It's a certification of methodology basically. It's not a certification of principles. Whatever you learn in PMP will also be used in other places, and whatever you learn in Prince 2 will always be used. PMP is more popular than Prince 2. That is true actually. Which PMBOK guide one should go for 4 or 5, as I don't think that there is much material or more questions on PMBOK 5. PMBOK 5 is just released in January. So definitely not many things are there, and most of the people are focusing on fourth version only, because till 31st of July it is the fourth version which is on force. And most of the we have observed in earlier years, whenever there is a change, people try to take the exam in the previous version. They don't want to, because many of them have already studied and they don't want to study the next version again. So in fifth version there are changes, there are shufflings here and there. So stakeholder management is a new knowledge area altogether. So there are changes, and those changes will be applied only after 1st of August. So if you are planning to give exam after 31st of July, I think you start reading PMBOK 5. If you want to give the exam before 31st of July, you study PMBOK 4th edition. What is more popular in European? What is more popular in European countries like France, Germany, also Australia? PMP. Australia, I think AIPM is also popular, but PMP is all popular all around. Okay, so I don't see any more questions. Let me wait for a minute. If there is any question, we'll answer. Okay, thanks for excellent webinar. This topic is often not explained well. So well done. Thank you very much. Can I use 1.5 PDUs for this webinar for attempting exam of PMP? Yes, you will be sending an email to all the attendees that you have attended this webinar for, and this webinar is of 1.5 hours. You can claim 1.5 PDUs against that. Okay, somebody was asking for my email IDs. You can write to me on vivek@pmwares.com, and you can write to PMI on, I think it is customer care at pmi.org. So if you want to send it to something to, okay, let me make it to PMI, write it to customer care at pmi.org. You want to write to me, you can write it to vivek@pmwares.com. Thank you very much for this session. It is helpful. Great. Thank you very much. So I think I'm not seeing more questions are coming up. So thank you very much for all of you for coming over here and listening to me. I hope this session is useful to you. And only one thing which I want to tell you, that this PPT may not be available to you because this is part of our course, PMP course. What will be available to you? The recording of this webinar. Okay, this will be available on YouTube on our channel in the public domain. So if you want to refer to someone that to get understanding of PMP certification program, then you can refer to this webinar. You can have a link. We will give you the link of this recording when it is hosted to you, and you can keep a link, preserve this. That will always be there. We're not going to remove it, and we will send you an email confirming your attendance here, so even that will be useful. That will be helpful to you for claiming the PDUs. The PPT will not be providing in public domain, as this is part of our PMP program, because we run through our all participant through this PPT. Okay, thank you very much for coming over here once again, and I hope this is useful. You will be like take benefit of it. If you have any question any point of time, please feel free to write to me. I will be answering you. Maybe it may take some time sometimes at some instances, but I will definitely answer you if you have dropped it mail to me. Thank you once again, all of you. Thanks, Vivek. Preparing for my PMP exam 17. All the best. Did you? Meanwhile, you want to say something? You have raised the hand. Okay.